Hi, this is our media plan for Fiji Water, presented by myself, Quinn Keep, Caroline Krebs, and Annie Koenig, who you will also see during this presentation. This is our table of contents, our agency credentials, and our executive summary. All of these things we'll be getting into a little bit more throughout the rest of the presentation, so I'll just let you get a quick glance at that. And now I'm going to just go ahead and get right into our situation analysis, which is kind of before we say where we think Fiji Water needs to be headed, this is kind of where it's been and what the current situation is. The problem, first looking at the marketing problem that we found with Fiji Water, is a differentiation gap between its price and the luxury space that it's kind of trying to entertain and be in, and what the actual product is, which is water, something that lots of people consider to be very everyday, very easily accessible, and there's also not there's a lot more competition in the market luxury water space. And the challenge moving forward is to balance the premium identity of Fiji with increased relevance, making sure that it stays relevant to the public and ensuring that the brand remains both distinctive and worth choosing when there's lots of options in this luxury water marketplace. So, some history about the brand and Fiji Water itself. Fiji was founded in the 1990s. It built its brand around being from a spring in Fiji, and kind of being like the finest water on earth was their like first campaign, very untouched, very just luxurious, and they were kind of towards the start of this luxury water market. So the luxury bottled water industry kind of has its roots in the 18th and 19th century. Moving into the 20th century, bottled water, specifically in America, just became a bigger category, and there was just more options for it. And the emergence of the modern luxury water segment in the late 1990s and early 2000s marked a shift from more functional, health based water advertising to symbolic and experimental branding, saying like this kind of can be a status symbol. And so it has continued to become a more competitive marketplace. And that is one thing, as I just mentioned, in the marketing problem that Fiji has kind of faced, because now water bottles is a status oriented commodity. And for a lot of people, Fiji or one of its competitors can represent high status, a luxurious lifestyle, something like that. So this is the ad expenditure analysis share of voice in over the past few years. Fiji Water maintains a strong presence with premium bottled water categories. They have lots of emphasis on digital experiential channels. And compared to competitors, the brand relies less on traditional print and television, instead prioritizing lifestyle-driven placements and sponsorships, lots of social media, um, and they still maintain like a pretty competitive share of voice in this market. This is their ad expenditure analysis. All of these numbers are not publicly produced by Fiji Water itself. And so these were understood based off of research that we did about the luxury water market and about Fiji Water itself. So these numbers are pretty generalized. Here's what it kind of looks like for the ad expenditure. This media mix reflects industry-informed estimates based on luxury beverage advertising trends. As I mentioned, pretty heavy on internet, digital, and social, and then some cable TV. They also have a few ads in magazines. The geographic area analysis shows that some bigger cities with kind of more of their target audience which is 25 to 44-year-old women, proves to be strong core market water for Fiji, such as Atlanta. Philadelphia represents the best opportunity for Fiji Water to grow their market. San Francisco has good levels of both their BDI and FDI, so Fiji Water could realistically maintain kind of their success there. And Detroit is lower priority because they show lower levels overall in this market. So the current strategies that Fiji Water is using, the kind of 4 Ps, Fiji Water builds product strategy around island provenance. Like I said earlier, this is something that can only be gotten from one place on the earth. It's spring water, it's natural, it's good for you. So this approach kind of keeps things distinct and aligned with luxury hospitality expectations. The product architecture is a very like premium looking bottle, kind of square shaped, a little bit unique, with like a luxurious, different kind of background of like tropical settings. The price spans single serve, multi serve, and case packs to match different value ladders. U.S. grocery shelves typically list 500 milliliters singles between $2.49 and $3.49, and then a 24 pack of those 500 milliliters will cost you about $19 to $24. Promotional investment prioritizes lifestyle storytelling and high visibility placements while preserving margin. Activations in entertainment, fashion, and design ecosystems create cultural signals that retail media can harvest. So yeah, they focus a lot on kind of the storytelling aspect of things, and just places that are going to have a high visibility by their target audience. Place, product, and placement decisions work together to heighten perceived value. Again, kind of taking something that's maybe not luxury and making it feel that way. Distinct packaging elevates visibility online and in store. Their bottle is recognizable, it's curated, and distribution in high-end environments strengthens the brand meetings. This isn't something that you're just going to find anywhere. You're going to find it in a high-end grocery store, where you're going to shop for kind of some things that are a little bit more on the higher end. The result establishes a virtuous cycle where context amplifies product and product justifies the context. Presence spans premium grocery, club, convenience, e-commerce, luxury, hospitality, and travel retail for both reach and signaling. This is something that's worked very effectively for them in the past. Their primary competitors include Evian, Boss Water, and Perrier. They're all very aesthetic. They have really strong, few of them, like Evian, have strong global distribution and just pretty like unique packaging. Their secondary competitors are San Pellegrino, Lifewater, and Essentia. This is kind of the market share based on some perceived data. This is an AI generated table, but this was just to get a better look at what this competitors are kind of seeing versus Fiji Water. The current target audience is 56% female, 44% male. The core age is 25 to 44-year-old white women. That's kind of like the core target persona that we're looking at. The target profile, they have an income median, 102 per year income. 60% own homes of their customers, 56% own pets, 38% have children, 39% married. A lot of times the people buying from them have a pretty health conscious lifestyle. They value wellness, convenience, and premium image. And they're willing to pay more for something that's quality branding and kind of matching it their aesthetic. Fiji Water targets young, established, and lifestyle-driven consumers who prioritize premium quality, wellness, and brand image. So they're willing to kind of look past the price. This is the product life cycle that Fiji Water sees and SWOT analysis. Fiji Water has built a powerful and recognizable brand through strategic marketing. The position allows Fiji Water to maintain a loyal customer base, people who have been using the product and love the product. Its presence in high-end hotels, restaurants, and events they've got themselves in the right spaces to reinforce that it's worth the cost. Their weakness is that it's high cost compared to other bottled water brands, which can deter price-sensitive customers and limit broader market appeal. The disconnect between brand image and it's not as environmentally sustainable as one might think, which can really harm its reputation, especially among those environmentally conscious consumers who are also kind of the same market as those lifestyle-driven consumers. Some opportunity is they can strengthen their position by adapting to changing customer expectations. Sustainable practices would be a big thing. Expanding its product line, such as sparkling water. Leverage its strong brand identities to expand into related lifestyle or wellness products past just water. That's a big opportunity for them. And a threat is that Fiji Water faces intense competition from a wide range of bottled water brands, a lot of them significantly just different, more widespread, and they have more sustainability efforts, as I kind of mentioned in the weakness. Finally, one of the greatest threats that Fiji water has always and will always face is the fact that tap water is free and it's significantly accessible and in many areas considered safe and high quality, making it difficult for Fiji waters to justify to their customers why they would pay for something that they can get for good quality at a much cheaper price.
Okay, first we're going to look at our agency credentials, and within our team, we kind of have a strong balance of research, planning, organization, creative, etc. So Quinn serves as our account executive and research lead, so she is the main link between the client and the agency. And then she also just oversees all of the research efforts. I serve as a campaign strategist and project coordinator, so I ultimately just oversee the direction and the organization of the campaign while also delivering the media and marketing objectives. And then Caroline serves as our media planner and creative lead. She's responsible for developing the creative strategy while also just determining the most effective levels of communication and the media mix for this campaign. Now we're going to go into our marketing objectives. Some of the objectives that we set into place were to drive measurable sales growth for Fiji while just increasing their overall market share in their category. A big one is just increasing sales of Fiji's 700 milliliter bottle and just reinforcing why this is convenient on the go bottle from Fiji. And then Fiji wants to attract new customers from competing brands while also increasing their research repeat purchases from their current consumers. And then ultimately just maintaining competitiveness in such a crowded market and strengthening their retail performance. The target audience we saw fit was according to our situation analysis, and we think the users of Fiji water would be the best fit. So this was female, ages 25 to 44. This is a strong consumer segment of Fiji because this is a young group who is more trend conscious and is kind of focused on their health and wellness, but they're also more prone to be spending money on more luxurious items and premium items that may help with their status or the trends, their social status. Now, for target audience secondary, we looked at the situation analysis and we focused on Fiji's non-users to be the secondary audience, and this was the demographic of people aged 45 to 54. We think that this is a strong segment because many of these people already have their career and they have some disposable income, but they also already know their purchasing habits, so they may be prone to spending some money on a premium brand. Now we're going to move into media objectives. The advertising objectives that were set into place are increasing brand awareness of Fiji and just their luxury brand image that they want to uphold. Building awareness of that 700 milliliter size and the convenience of it and all of the positive things that come with it. And then really just reinforcing the positive brand associations that come with Fiji and why people are drawn to this brand and why their products are the best. For overall target coverage, the main goal that we set into place was that Fiji Water campaign will target 75% annual reach among women ages 25 to 44 with an average frequency of 5 exposures. So this ultimately will maintain a 60% monthly reach with an average frequency of 3 or more. So since Fiji is in such a crowded market, we thought that this broad reach was necessary just so that people are more aware of Fiji and so that we bring in new customers while also reinforcing those repeat purchases. For the continuity strategy, we chose a pulsing strategy where Fiji will maintain a year-round presence, but will have heavy up periods. And for those heavy up periods, we chose January through March, April through June, and October through December with a $25 million budget. So we know that water is purchased year-round, but also the specific category demand is different by season. So we thought that would be the most efficient. For geographic allocation, we looked at the category and brand development indexes, and we chose different areas where Fiji could maintain, where Fiji could grow, where Fiji needs to step back, etc. And the main areas we found those to be were Atlanta, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Detroit. Now moving into creative application. For our creative brief, we have some information on Fiji, just background, target audience, etc. But the ultimate objective here is that we want to increase awareness and sales of the 700 milliliter bottle by positioning it in a way that it shows that premium hydration is what you can get with this bottle and that it's convenient, on the go, portable, etc. for your lifestyle. The call to action here is that if you choose Fiji water, then you're upgrading your everyday routine. Now, lastly, here are just some creative application campaign ideas. We chose to focus on an elevate every sip idea, which just kind of implements the idea that with Fiji, your everyday routine can be elevated.
Now, for our media strategy, or how we're going to accomplish our media objectives. First, we have an overview of our seasonal and regional reach and frequency. So, during our heavier seasons, the ultimate goal is just to build awareness and to have a big impact in these seasons. So, this looks like a 70 to 75% reach with a 5 to 6 frequency, which both of those categories match our goals for the yearly average and for the heavier season average. And this looks like 100 GRPs per season with a total of 300 for the heavy seasons. Now, for the light season, our ultimate goal is just to maintain awareness that was built during the heavy seasons. So, not totally disregarding this light season and still being consistent, but just not putting all the effort here. So, this looks like a 40 to 50% reach, a frequency of 2 to 3, and then 75 GRPs for this light season. Now, for regional reach and frequency, for the South or our Atlanta region, there already is a strong BDI and CDI, so our goal is just maintenance. So this looks like a high reach, high frequency, and 110 GRPs. Now, for the Northeast or our Philadelphia region, there are a lot of bottled water drinkers, but not a ton of Fiji water consumers. So our goal is just growth. So this looks like a very high reach, high frequency, and then 95 GRPs. Now, for the West, there are a lot of Fiji water consumers, even though there aren't a ton of bottled water drinkers there, which means Fiji water has a very good foot into a relatively small market. So, our goal is just protection. So, this looks like a high reach, high frequency, and 115 GRPs. Now, for the Midwest, there are not a ton of Fiji water drinkers and not a ton of bottled water drinkers there in general. So, this looks like cost efficiency and low priority. So not totally disregarding the region, but just enough where they're aware, but not all of the marketing efforts and media efforts are being put in here. So this looks like a 55 to 60% reach, 3 to 5 or 3 to 3.5 frequency, and 55 GRPs. Now, breakdown of our schedule in GRPs across the course of the year for social media, radio, and Spanish speaking. Across the course of the year, there's a pretty consistent amount of GRPs, whereas TV, magazine, and outdoor tend to have less GRPs during the lighter seasons. And so this difference is show that there is still effort being done during the lighter seasons, even though it may look different depending on the media being used. Um, and then internet, differently, is actually heavier during the lighter seasons. So lots more of targeting through advertisements and searches and things. So it's not as much in your face, but there are still media efforts being done. And once again, we have a $25 million budget and a 75% reach, 5 frequency, which leaves us with 375 GRPs. Now, for our media selection, social media, we thought allowed for the greatest engagement capabilities, especially because Fiji Water had a goal with this campaign to really meet the consumer where they're at and strengthen their preferences. So this looks like having audience engagement, and also social media allows for a lot of opportunities for aspirational content and kind of the luxury image of Fiji to be maximized through creating, once again, aesthetic content and through utilizing influencers who can position Fiji as a lifestyle choice and as luxurious. And then the TV, as well as outdoor, had a very high reach and high exposure and visibility. And also, TV allows for lots of storytelling, which is great for the luxury image of Fiji Water. And then magazines had a very high index from what we saw in MRI Simmons and also allow for a lot of that luxurious brand image reinforcement. And then internet, there was just a high usage amongst this target in general, also found from MRI Simmons. And lots of targeting can be done. And then radio and Spanish were best for reaching specific audiences. So radio more so for multitaskers. I mean, still reaching people who have a more on the go lifestyle. And Spanish speaking shows that Fiji Water is inclusive and is also trying to reach that specific market. Now, for our media mix, here's just a breakdown of the budget. We can see that social media, digital and internet and TV had the greatest spending, whereas the radio and audio in Spanish had the smallest amount because, once again, there's a smaller market using those media types. And here's another picture that shows the breakdown. And this is all based on data from MRI Simmons, as well as from looking at competitor media spending. We just thought these were the wisest choices to make and most strategic. Now for some vehicle recommendations. Social media, this was very much based on Fiji Water consumers and then competitor brand consumers. So users of Fiji Water tend to be really present on YouTube and Pinterest, whereas Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat were really popular amongst competitor brand consumers. And TikTok was just used heavily amongst the target audience as a whole. So we really want to utilize the TikTok in this campaign and maximize our usage of it. And then Paramount Plus was heavy amongst Fiji Water consumers, and Apple TV, Peacock, and Discovery were heavy amongst competitor brand consumers. And then lastly, magazines. There were many different niche and specific magazine types, so it'd be a lot to try to get in every single one. We know we can't reach every single type of consumer, but it looked like outdoor magazines were very popular amongst Fiji Water consumers, which is very fitting to the more of the lifestyle, outdoor, organic image of Fiji. Whereas business and sports magazines were really popular amongst competitor brand users. So even though we don't want to sway away from the Fiji Water brand image of being more natural and outdoors, and we do want to meet the consumer where they're at and try to reach this audience. So this may look like investing more in business and sports magazines, media types, and vehicles. Thank you.